Hello and welcome to Season 2, Episode 5 of the Let's Face It podcast. This is my journey with Kirstin, Aston. This episode is proudly sponsored by Arrow Travel, and they're going to be our continued sponsor for the next, I think they're on last week's one, this week's one, and the next 2 weeks as well. So thanks very much to David and Alistair and Aileen in Arrow Travel. Absolutely brilliant, and your help is greatly appreciated. Arrow Travel is a travel agent well established in the local community of Andersonstown for over 35 years. They offer travel services for all over the world, making people's dreams and wishes come true and creating many a memory for all people of all ages. Go check out Arrow Travel on Facebook, and they're just on the Andy Town Road there facing the busy bee. Go in and see Aileen. Unbelievable. Fancy holiday?
Here, I need one. 100%. Will we go tomorrow?
Aye, where will we go?
Everyone will go?
We'll get a wee package sent across. You fancy, Sean?
Oh,
Happy days.
Sounds great. I'll get my suitcase packed. I can't wait.
We'll go in and see Aileen. She'll look after. She's brilliant. So, Kirstin, what's the crack?
Literally nothing. Just rushing about like a mad woman today. Because me being me, I'm constantly having a drama. Constantly couldn't find any of my clothes. Couldn't find my makeup bag. Couldn't find anything. God love me. Rushing to get something to eat. But I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I just rolled out of bed and so on with shirt, and that's me like for the day. So I'm a wee bit more to it than that, like, but not as complicated as you.
Just got dressed in the corner of the room.
But I suppose, like, for those who don't know you, like, I suppose like, over lockdown you really flourished in terms of like your music and stuff and putting it out on TikTok and Instagram, and you gained like, I don't know how many, talk about that in a minute, but you gained an almighty following, and like off the back of like a remarkable story. It's one of the most probably touching stories I've heard, and I've been in loads of circles around rehab and AA and stuff like that, and I listened to the podcast that you done, and it was amazing. It was really, really class, and it was very, very touching and very inspiring. Like, and I think you are a great singer, and everyone knows that. But but your story is unbelievable, and we'll talk about that. But what am I right in saying that over lockdown it was just sort of, did you start putting music videos out there?
Well, I was always in the music, always really loved it, like constantly singing, even from when I was a wee tiny nipper. And I actually remember the first time I ever did sing, properly sing in front of somebody that wasn't just myself. And I was really, really tiny, and it was me and my mum walking through Castle Court. And we got through Castle Court, and a song that came on, I must have really loved it or something. Started singing along, just not really thinking anything of it. And I remember my mummy stopping me in my tracks and was like, "Do that again?" And I was like, "Yeah, no problem." Like, no problem. Looking over, like, yeah, I'm just standing in the middle of Castle Court, and everyone's like, "What on earth is going on?" My mummy's like, "You're actually good." So turned round, trailed me up to my auntie's house, and was like, "Right, Kirstin's gonna sing us a wee song here." And I stood in the living room like this here. She's like, "No, just do what you did earlier on." I was going, "No, I can't. No, I just can't." Just like, "No, just remember when we were in Castle Court and you sang that song, sing it again." I was like, and then I think that's when I was just like, right, embarrassed. But I really can never remember a time where I didn't love singing. Yeah. I was really obsessed with it. But I mean, I was into it, then I stopped doing it, and then I was into it again, then I stopped doing it. And now I'm determined to just continue. But over lockdown, as you said, like, I just was so bored doing nothing as everybody was, and was like, I'm going to put something out, just a wee random song. And then because, as you can tell, I'm a bit smacked out. Not like tracksuits and throwing petrol bombs, but I'm just a wee bit more on the broad side. So I was like, right, I'm going to try singing random songs in my accent and see what the crack is. And for some reason, people liked it. I can't tell you why, because some of them are more funny. Yeah. And I did do it for humour at the beginning, and some of them actually were quite nice. So I just thought I would continue doing it.
Class. I was listening to one of your songs actually last night. I forget what the song was, but it was, I don't know anything about singing, but it was nice. It was.
Thank you very much.
I think someone said that before about the Belfast accent and the singing. It is very sort of unique, isn't it?
You either love it or you absolutely hate it.
Yeah, that's true.
Even the Belfast Live thing went up. Oh my goodness, I got some abuse. People were like, number one, they were like, oh my, her whole face is fake. And I was like, I'm going to take that as a complete compliment, because it's not. So I will take it as something, oh my goodness, thank you very much. And then they were like, oh, you're putting out these videos and you're miming. I was like, I'm actually not. I'm near sure it's just either my phone or whatever you're watching on, because I don't even have the equipment to be recording this properly and then miming to it. And it's a 1 minute video. It's a 1 minute TikTok video. I'm not going to do all the effort of like recording it professionally and then miming over it. And I was getting just absolute dog's abuse. And then of course there was loads of people that were really, really nice, but you always remember those couple of comments that were just horrible.
Absolutely, and I agree with you. Like, you know, with all the good we'll do in the world and stuff, like, you know, I'm the type of person who someone could say 10 good things and one bad thing, and I would just dwell on the one bad thing. Like,
I'm like that.
In terms of like online abuse and stuff like that, and I do get that the good outweighs the bad and stuff, but how bad did that make you feel, really? Or did you just wipe it off, or were you in a position where you were stronger, I suppose, at that stage, were you?
You know what? At the time, I was kind of like going to myself, right, I can either look at this and be like, I'm not putting out any more videos, I'm really embarrassed, I'm really upset, all that kind of stuff. And I did get into that mindset for like maybe a couple of hours, and I sat and I was refreshing the Belfast Live thing, and every single time I refreshed it, there was like maybe one bad comment for every like 5 nice ones. And I was going, oh my goodness, like what they're writing, like does everybody think the same thing? Does everybody think that I'm miming? Does everybody think that my whole face is fake? Does everybody think that I'm this type of person when I'm not? And then I was like, do you know what? Everybody has an opinion about everything. And I think that when people see something on the internet, they forget that that person that they're actually talking about and posting about is a person. Like a person that you can talk to. Like, I don't know why anybody would want to take time out of their day to be like, I think blah 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 about you.
Yeah.
Why? I just don't understand. So I got into that mindset for a couple of hours, and then I was like, do you know what? I'm just not reading them anymore. I don't really care. It doesn't really even matter. These people don't know me, don't know anything about me, and probably don't really know that much about singing. So absolutely. I'm just not taking it.
Absolutely, and it's a good mind frame to be in. And you said there about why, and it's something that I talked a couple of weeks ago with Chris Kerr. He's a Gaelic footballer with, and someone actually said to me before, whenever I went on the pitch, about what are you doing here, and I was like, what? And he was like, sure, this isn't a rehab centre, you know, and really sort of and I was like, do you know what? I could take this either way, and it's the same sort of idea as online abuse. Like, that person or them people who are sitting behind a keyboard or sitting, but you know, saying these things, they have real insecurities about themselves, you know, and that's something that I've turned around and said, you know what, he's not comfortable in his own skin, so I actually pity him and just move on, you know, and that's the way I would look at things like that, and it's so healthy, you know. But you mentioned Castle Court there, and you're walking through Castle Court with your mummy, and you know, obviously you have some very fond memories and stuff and things like that about your music days and stuff for your mum, and of course you were hit with an almighty tragedy, I suppose, whenever you were at jail, like, and something that is very hard for, I can imagine it's very hard for a young person. Like, tell me a wee bit more about that and what happened.
So from all the good memories that I have of my mum, even the ones that I thought were good at the time, I think about it and go, oh, like that wasn't exactly what I remember type thing. Because even my mum, obviously, she was an alcoholic and she was very depressed, and I don't necessarily know the ins and outs of what she was going through, but I don't think anybody will ever know. But she just struggled a lot with her own stability in her life, and she heavily drank and heavily did very risky behaviours and spent time with people that weren't really that great. She was in and out of rehab twice, 3 times actually, and just nothing was really helping her. She did do loads of things, she went to counsel and stuff, nothing really helped, and I think it was just one of those things where she got herself so wrapped up in the whole I'm never going to get better that she kind of found comfort in her own sadness in a way. And I think that everybody kind of does that as well, and I've done it where I've went, do you know what, nothing's going to go right for me, nothing's getting better, like I just feel like there's no point in trying.
Comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Yeah. Or it's like you feel if everything's on fire, Like, if you live in a burning house, you think the whole world is on fire. And I love that saying, and I think I say it at least 3 times a day. But I feel like she did do that. She thought, okay, so I can't get myself out of this. No matter what anybody says to me, no matter what anybody does for me, nothing's going to get better. So obviously living in a house, it was me and my wee brother and my mum. And she was just, didn't really bring us to school or anything. And like, she would have struggled to make us dinners and stuff, so even if we did have something, it would be like, I don't know, like I would make me and Scott like a tin of soup or like fish fingers or something, so we ended up getting quite thin, and because we weren't going to school, we weren't getting an education, and even that affected me throughout my whole way through primary school and then the whole way through secondary school, because I felt like I was constantly having to like catch up with everybody. And I still, to this day, would not consider myself as an intelligent person whatsoever. Like, I'm just constantly behind everybody else. I didn't go to uni or anything, and I was just like, I think with that sort of bit of life, I was like, do you know what, I'm not even bothering to try. Even in my, I think it was like my last year in upper sixth, and I even got an award for having the lowest attendance in the entire year. And it was like 47% or something of the whole year that I was in. And I think that I didn't realise at the time, because in secondary school I was just going, I'm just a bit thick and I don't really like going to school, so I'm just not, that's why I'm behind. But then if you really think about it, if I'm behind from 6th year to 6th year to 5th year to 4th year to 3rd, just like the whole way through, and it comes from me not going to school and going, I don't understand my 5 times tables, I don't understand my 6 times tables, it was because I wasn't going. So in a way, there's like what happened, and then so many branches off that is kind of, I'm playing catch up with my life now, in a way. So the whole school thing, and then I had to sort of like make sure that my brother was okay, because my brother is only 2 years younger than me, but I think that me and him have always been our like wee comfort blanket towards each other. And I kind of took the brunt of most things, because if my mum was having a meltdown and she was like throwing things downstairs or shouting or getting on and downstairs something, I'd put Scott literally in my bed, wrap him up and be like, do not come out of this room. And in a way that I became the parent that I just didn't really have, which is obviously just unstable for kids to sort of grow up like that. And so this went on for a while, and my mum would have like basically completely drank herself to death every day, and I would have literally lifted her from the ground. No idea how I managed this, but I would have had to like half lift her onto the bed because she'd be on the floor.
Sorry, what age you?
I must be like, she died when I was 9, so I would have been younger than that. This must have been on for a couple of years, but I must have been like, what, 7 to 9 or something, 8 to 9. I don't know. Yeah. But I just know that she died when I was 9. Her anniversary is actually coming up in November. But it was just one of those things where I was going, because I'm a kid and you don't know any better, I thought everybody's life was just like this. I don't understand why I was like constantly so behind everybody and struggling and constantly thinking these really negative things. Like I would be like, everything that's happening here is my fault. Like, my mummy's not happy because it's my fault. I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing good in school. I'm not doing good in the house. I'm not helping enough. And it got to the point where I was just constantly feeling completely miserable, even at a wee young kid, where I was going, I don't even want to be here anymore. And for, like, I teach kids as well in a stage school, and see looking at the wee 9-year-olds and going, I cannot imagine you feeling like that. It's just terrible. And it is hard to go, okay, kids obviously, they genuinely do blame everything on themselves, because you don't know anything about the whole world. You don't know about everybody else is going through their own journey. You just think, my whole world is me and my mum and my brother, and that's it. And I need to fix this. But I don't think that anybody really could have helped her.
Yeah, it's just... It's very touching, that, like, it really, really is. And I suppose, like, you're 9 years of age and your mum passed away, and then, you know, all of a sudden you're left with this responsibility.
Yeah.
not that anyone was forcing on you. You probably felt it, and then having to look after your brother and stuff like that. Like, and you probably had that then the whole way up into your teenage years and stuff as well, did you?
Yeah, definitely. Because once, like, obviously, sadly, when my mum died by suicide, it was like, right, it was terrible because obviously she was in and out of rehab. She was in the first rehab, came back out, same thing was happening. Second rehab, came back out, same thing was happening. And then she went to the third one. And I think that she kind of just got to the point where I feel like she gave up a wee bit. And she was just saying, because she constantly was saying to me, like, no matter what happens, like, I wouldn't say that, like, I wouldn't ever turn around and say my mum was a bad mummy. Mm-hmm. I love her to bits. I've always loved her to bits. I don't blame her. I can understand from having bad mental health how things can snowball to the point where you just feel like you can't carry it by yourself. But she would constantly be like, no matter what happens, like, just genuinely know I'm always in your heart and I love you. I never understood why she was saying those things to me and being like, if I wasn't here, would you be okay? And I'm going, why on earth? And I'm going, yeah, no, I will be okay, and like, I love you and like all this here. But obviously she was kind of preparing for what she was going to do. So once she did pass, I think all those realizations sort of hit me, and even at 9, because I grew up quite quickly, not really in a term of being like a fully grown adult with a job and stuff, but
no
just
choice, but it's just
I was just very emotionally mature at a very young age, and I understood a lot more than what everybody around me thought I was understanding. And I think that when she passed, it was just earth-shattering, completely earth-shattering. Like, I wrapped myself up in my mum's house coat with just random things that she had and just listened to the same CD on repeat for like weeks. And it was terrible, but it was just one of those things where I went, I can't do anything about this, so I just have to sit in my own sadness. And I just kind of pushed it down and didn't deal with it even until probably the last couple of years.
Yeah, and that's trauma, do you know? Yeah. And you know, I've talked about my trauma quite a bit, you know, with different people and on the podcast too. And I think as a child, you know, I can kind of relate to you in a way in terms of, you know, being trapped and being, you know, the self-worth is on the ground and comparing yourself and not thinking you're good enough. And even like wee small things and memories and stuff. And I heard you saying it before about like certain noises and with the cupboards and stuff like that. And mine's is actually like a door slamming, you know, or the stairs. And it's anytime I would hear like someone really badly slamming the door, my whole body goes into and I feel like a child.
It's like even your body remembers everything. Like it really does. Yeah. And I never picked up on why those things. I'm the jumpiest person in the whole world. Yeah. Like literally so jumpy. If someone says boo to me, I'm like jumping and shaking. Yeah. And I was going, why am I like this? Even whenever I was working, like I work with the kids and they jump, like they just, kids are funny. They just go like, rah! And they're like, why is Kirstin jumping all the time? And I'm like, I am a nervous wreck. But as you said, like people, if somebody would close a cupboard door really aggressively or like run up the stairs or like even people coming into the house, I'm going like, oh my God, there's nothing wrong. Yeah. It's fine. Like, it's just like, it'd be like my friend coming in or my dad, like, because like I'm back at my dad's for a while, and if my dad came in and I'm going, oh my God, like, it's literally my dad coming in going, do you want a cup of tea? I'm shaking. It's
mad though, isn't it? Like, and that is what trauma or PTSD or whatever you want to call it, like, you know, it is like, and it's no matter how much you work on yourself and stuff, it's still there. Like, it, and I understand you because it happens to me too. Like, and it's
you can get your
crazy,
brain around it, but getting your body around it is a completely different battle, isn't it? It's just,
it's mental. But so I even going on the later years, like you, there was a lot of firsts for you that your mummy, you know, obviously didn't get the witness, like, you know, in terms of, you know, maybe doing your transfer test and starting first year and all this, you know, things that, you know, growing up, like your formal maybe in school. Was there ever any, you know, did you find that difficult?
I think well, obviously I did, but I think it's more just the advice side of things I really wanted to go to, because my daddy's brilliant, he's fantastic, he did the best job that he ever really could have done with the knowledge that he had at the time, And I think it was more just that you can only, as a girl, go to your daddy for so much. Like, you can't go and be like, listen, I have a boyfriend now, or like anything to do like hair and makeup, or just anything girly.
Yeah.
Like, I just didn't really have anybody to turn around and be like, can we talk about this kind of stuff? My daddy's into like games and PlayStation and Star Wars.
Yeah.
And fair enough, I'm not a hater of those things. My brother loves them, and I think it's very nice for my brother to have that type of person to sort of talk to as well. But I think I missed that side of it.
Yeah.
And as you said, like, even just, it was my formal, it was like starting to properly sing, doing shows, like meeting my friends and everything like that, where I'm kind of going, oh, I really wish that she would have been here for that,
Yeah.
and I really wish that I would have had my mum here for that. But I think I just have to kind of go to myself, that was the years that I did have, this is the hand I was dealt.
Yep.
And there's nothing at all that I can really do to change it. And sitting and being sad about it is okay, but letting it take over my life like I did for ages is just not doing me any good, because as much as it's my story, it's not my whole story. Like, I'm gonna deal with it, I'm gonna be sad about it, and there's probably gonna be days where I probably will wrap myself up in a blanket and cry.
Of course, yeah.
But I'm not gonna do that every day, whereas I was doing that every day for a long time. But no, I miss my mum every day.
Yeah, and that's class, you know, the very fact that you're in a position now to be able to look at it like that, and accept that it is just part of your journey, and I do find that amazing. But the other thing then was, you said you then learned to deal with it. Things did change. You didn't wrap yourself up every day. So what did change? What did you put in place to try and overcome this and sort of move on and make something of yourself?
So when I got a bit older, into like my late teenage years, I started quite heavily drinking, going out partying, going out for like days on end, would have just disappeared, spending time with people I probably shouldn't have spent time with. Just, there's been, when people are like, oh, they're just a header, they just love a wee drink, they just love doing this, that and the other. I took it too far. Like, every time, like, constantly was just taking it way too far and making an absolute muppet out of myself. I think I broke, see the Bone song? So we just go through it now, and I'll just go, broke that one, broke that one, broke that one, broke that one. I've had like 4 or 5 concussions. Like, it's just horrendous. I was basically going to the Royal Hospital's Christmas party because I was there so much. I just walk in, they're like, what have you done now? And I'm going, broke a wrist, I've broke my ankles like 7 times, my nose, about 4 or 5 concussions. Like, I could just go on and on and on. Fingers, toes. Yeah.
And I think like that, just from having experience of the alcohol side of it too, like, and drugs of course, but you know, it's an easy thing to do, and I see it a lot with my friends and stuff, who like there's a difference now, and I want to make this clear, between someone who maybe loses a run on themselves and drinks because of stuff going on, and an alcoholic. Mm-hmm. There's a difference, and I think it's bad for even anything like labeling people and stuff like that. It is wrong in my opinion, and so by no means like I'm saying that you were an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yes.
But what I am saying is that I do witness a lot of people, and I done it too in my early days. By drinking, I was literally just numbing the pain.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to pretend, like, it gave me the confidence to pretend to be someone that I wasn't.
Yes.
Like, in terms of like being out there a wee bit more with girls and whatever, social circles and stuff, because I never felt like I was good enough, even though like you, I was talented. Like, you're a good singer, I was good at GAA and stuff like that, and I just fully didn't believe myself, so I used drink for that coping mechanism. Mm-hmm. And of course, whenever you do have problems going on in your head, you think this is great, but there's no there's no end to it. Like, there's no I'll go out and have 5 pints and that's me, I'll go home. It's like you want to get off your head and want to be so fucking out of this world that I don't need to think about anything. But that can only last for so long, because then hangovers come in and you say you're spending time in the hospital and stuff like that. But would I be right in saying, just on reflection, like that's what you were doing in terms of like numbing pain because you hadn't addressed it before?
Yeah, 100%. I was just like, there was a time where I think I went out for it was 3 or 4 months. I drank every single day. I mean, every day I would have been like, right, if I had to go to work, I would have went to work. Now, I never, like, I would have always been at work. I always made it to work. I was never, like, I told my all that there, people can kind of go, oh, well, you like drinking at work. No, I obviously was not.
Yeah.
I love my job. I've never, like, done anything like that. But as soon as I was off clock and I was away, I'm going, here in the group chat, does anybody want to go for a couple of pints? And everyone's like, Jesus Christ, like, you need to like maybe just let your body rest for a bit. And I go, no, absolutely not. So I would have went by myself. I wouldn't have cared. I would have went down, sat in a bar, had a couple of pints, found somebody. There would have been somebody somewhere that I knew that was drinking, and I would have just continued to, like, maybe go to a party. Would have drank all night there, and then I would have done whatever I needed to do in the daytime, and then just restarted it basically every day. And it was more just, I think that I would come across quite confident, but I'm just the most riddled with anxiety person. And as you said, it really helped me to be like, I can be really confident here. I can, like, get on as if I'm, like, really confident with boys, really confident talking to people, really confident in, like, who I am, and such a happy, bubbly person. Whereas really I felt the exact opposite. Yeah. Like, I didn't know what was wrong with me. I didn't realise at the time, well, after therapy I now do, but, like, I didn't realise at the time that I was kind of not dealing with anything that had happened, pushing it down and going, I'll be okay, I'll be okay, I'll be okay. But my body was kind of just always in fight or flight and panic. And I was going, right, drinking helps with this. Mm-hmm. So that's why I kind of got into the snowballing thing. But, like, I wasn't confident in my relationships. I had really loads of different friends that came in and out of my life, and loads of different boyfriends that came in and out of my life, and constantly in risky behaviours, doing really stupid things. But yet, whenever you met me, you were like, Kirstin just loves going out, she just loves to drink, she's just good crack. And I'm going, yeah, no, it's such good crack. I'm going back and lying in the room and going, I cannot bear to be in here with my own thoughts again, so I need to just go back down, have a couple of pints of harp. And
it's just like a vicious circle, isn't it? And I've spoke about this before too, like, but it's just like the best way to describe that is you're basically talking about me in a way too, you know, the way it's fucking crazy. But the best way I can describe the way that, you know, our situation was, like, it's like, and you're saying about jumping from different friend groups and stuff. I used to do that all the time, and I didn't even know why I'd done it until, as you say, went and got therapy and stuff. But it was like, I even transferred GA clubs and it was mad. But I used to do this thinking the grass is greener on the other side. If I go in with this new friend group, they not find out who I really am. I can still put on this sort of, I'm the fucking man.
No one's concerned about you.
Exactly, because that old friend group are like, he drinks every day. Whereas this new one are like, you love a couple of pints, good crack, good value, you know. And the best way I could describe that was, and I always do, even when I'm doing a chair or whatever, would be like the guy who in the TV advert that goes out and he's partying all his mates, and he goes home and just pulls the mask off in front of the mirror. And it's just like, I have to sit and fucking deal with this person again. And then we can't live with that. And then we're back on the drink. And then it's just, it only goes one way. And was there like a moment for you that you went, right, hold on, I need to rein it in here a wee bit?
Do you know what? There's one person in my life that keeps myself in order. She is an absolute powerhouse of a woman. But I have always had one best friend. She is absolutely... Well, I know I have a group of friends that would be my friends for a very long time, but this one friend is like... She's like 5 foot, and she's like a Rottweiler. She's like a mini version of a Rottweiler. She's just... She'll not beat around the bush when she wants to say something to you. So she basically just went, you need to cut this out. I'm not listening to this anymore. I'm genuinely not having it. Like, you're drinking yourself to death. You're near breaking every bone in your body. You're just going to be a mash of bits soon. And she was like, I'm just not doing it. And if you want to continue being my friend, and she knows that I literally love her to bits. We've been friends for like 20 years. And she was like, if you want to continue to be my friend, you need to stop this behaviour because I'm not watching it. And she just cut me off and was like, no. Like, and I was like, anything that, as much as I loved going out and drinking, as much as I loved doing all those really stupid things that I was doing, I loved her so much more. Like, so much more. I could cry even talking about it, but in a really happy way. Like, she really has brought so much joy to my life that, like, genuinely, she's amazing. And I just love her.
What's her name?
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. Thanks very much,
Every
Brooklyn.
single time I talk about Brooklyn, I like start to well up in like a good way.
Yeah, but everyone, Sean, there's tissues over. Everyone,
Okay.
you alright?
Yeah. No, don't worry.
Everyone needs a Brooklyn in their lives, and I'm a big believer in having a Brooklyn. And it doesn't need to even be someone your own age or gender or whatever. Like, you know, it could be anybody. But it's like sticking with the winners, and she's clearly sounds like she's a winner. Like, and
she's just an absolute tank of a person. She's a wee tiny, cute, beautiful woman, but she just takes absolutely no crap. Like, I mean none. And I think that's really good. As much as I'm not very good with the mollycoddling type thing. Like, if you mollycoddle me, I will continue to do things. You have to turn around and be like, cut it out.
you need the truth.
I need the truth. Because if you kind of go, oh, it's okay, Kirstin, it'll be okay. I kind of go, what I'm doing's fine then. I'm going to be okay. Whereas she just kind of goes, that doesn't work with her. And even anytime I even start to, if I minorly slip up in my life, she'll even get all of our actual friends and be like, right, this is exactly what we're doing and we're just going to say this. And if she doesn't listen, well, she's on her own. And she knows fine rightly that I would rather die than spend 5 days of my life without seeing her. So
no, that's you actually made a really good. But thanks very much, Brooklyn.
Yes,
You're
thank
a star.
you, Brooklyn.
But you made a really good point there about whenever people are caught up in them circles and caught in them dark holes, and see mollycoddling, like, and walking on eggshells around people, especially people who are drinking and taking drugs and stuff. And I would be very close to saying you're nearly feeding their addiction or feeding their issues, because
You're enabling them?
you're enabling, definitely 100%, because it happened to me, and obviously it happened to you with certain friend groups and stuff like that there. And as you say, like, even if there is anyone out there who has a family member who is struggling, or like in my experience, and I was on the phone to a lady yesterday about this, about her son, who it's the same situation as what we were in, and obviously, you know, he took it to a new level, you know, the level that I obviously went to too, like, but. And she was saying the same, like, she's still bringing him down money for food and stuff like that. And I want, like, you know, there needs to be a lane here where, you know, you need to stop feeding them and stop mollycoddling and stop walking around eggshells and tell them the truth that they're wasting their lives.
Yeah.
And sometimes the truth hurts, but it's the best thing for a cure, in my opinion, because then they really know what the issue is, and then they can start working on it if they want to and want to help ultimately. But, you know, we talk about wanting help. Obviously Brooklyn came to you and said that and stuff. Was that then the start of a new journey in terms of, like, therapy, or?
Yeah, 100%, because after I think Brooklyn was like, right, you need to cut this out. I mean it. I'm absolutely taking no BS from you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. So I was like, right, if I get my life in order, I can maybe just start functioning like a normal human being and not feel like a pile of rubbish every day. So I went to therapy. I started sort of even just Googling, like, what do I do if I feel this way? What are helpful tips to do this, that, and the other? And I really, like, was obsessively trying to better myself. And, I mean, I've improved so much, because I would have been the type of person, like, I'm one of those people where the world is constantly crashing down upon them. I'm having a nightmare all the time. I get so worked up. And I'm so much better at it now that I know how to sort of go, okay, that is a very minor issue, Kirstin. If you just take a couple of steps back and realise that everything is going to be 100%, you just spilt a glass of water and you're fine. I think I've just got so much better at that. So I went to therapy, started actually talking to my friends about it. And then the more that I talked to more people that I knew, the more people were kind of going, I feel like that. So I was going, right, okay, so I've done this, and this, and this, and this, and this has really helped me. And then they're going, okay, they're trying it, it's really helping them. And it's becoming like a really big, I'm touching your mic.
You're okay.
It's just becoming like a nice, like, support group for everybody. So obviously, the more information that I gained, the more information that me as an oversharer decided that I wanted to share. So the more that I was posting online, and it only really started out, I was sharing a couple of quotes here and there, maybe like writing a wee story or something, and then more people were sort of replying back and going, that was really helpful, or I really needed that today, or that cheered me up, or I feel the same way. And I was like, here, this is making me feel so good that I'm actually taking something that's happened to me, and I'm sure you feel the same way, like something that happened to me and loads of different things that happened. I'm going, okay, there's other people out there that feel the same way, which is nice to have somebody there, but I can also go, I'm okay now. Like, I'm not 100%, but I'm okay. Like, I can function, I feel good, I have good days and bad days, but I've done all these things, and now I'm getting better. So the more I started posting, I was doing like my mental health Mondays. I was posting loads of stories online talking about like where to get help, how to get help, and now I have so many people like in my DMs. I've had more messages about mental health stuff than I have about ever singing. So everyone, no mates of mine, but more messages about that than anything, honestly. And it's just so good, because even started doing it on Instagram, then I was doing it on TikTok, and then obviously TikTok you get like people everywhere, which is just nuts. And it's just so nice to be able to sort of take something bad that happened to me and go, but here are all these things that I learned, so have those.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's so true, and like it's like someone said to me before about using every setback as an opportunity. You know, and our setbacks and stuff and traumas and stuff, like, you know, a lot of things can be gained by that from other people who are going through the same. You're totally right. And you mentioned there about your group. And I had Kieran May from Natural Resilience in a couple of weeks ago, and he does a lot of group work and a lot of like group therapy and a lot of like cold water swimming in groups and stuff, and he's fantastic. But even like, and we were mentioning about the best thing anyone can do, like even men used to do it years ago, like cavemen, sit in a circle and talk about how they're feeling.
Yeah.
Do you know, and it's something that we don't do as a society, and you know we're constantly like posting our best photos. So the best photo on a holiday, the best photo of a car, the best photo of ourselves playing sports, the best photo on a night out, like, and people don't see the not so best, and they're constantly going like, she is amazing, I want to be like her, he is amazing, I want to be like her, and then all of a sudden their self-esteem goes down. You know, but the power of a group, and you're totally right, because whenever you do open it out to the group and there's 10 people there, and then someone could come in and say, oh, this is how I'm feeling, and someone goes, this is how I'm feeling, and then you actually go, do you know what, I'm actually not too bad here, because there's other people going through what I'm going through, and it does, there's
like
something warming about that.
So but it's just, as you said, like social media, we're a big social media age. Everyone and their grannies are on TikTok and Instagram, and well, Facebook's kind of dying, but
is it
100%?
So
Facebook's dead.
I should maybe get a TikTok. I've been haunting it for
get a
ages.
TikTok. It's so good. So addictive. I swear to God, I came in last night and I think I was on TikTok to about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, I need to knock this in the head.
Is that why you slept in this morning?
I don't even start me about this day. I was going, I don't even know what I'm going to wear. How's she going? And then you went, oh, we'll get a coffee, and I was like, oh, I love you so much. It's like, now you're my bestest friend in the whole world. I was just like, this is terrible, I don't know what I'm going to wear, and I slept in and I'm just having a bad day. And then you were like, right, relax. And like, then I did take a couple of steps back and be like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Steps back make me go, I'm being very dramatic.
Yeah.
But
even like that's even like that experience that you had this morning, and I do this all the time with the boys in the rehab centre whenever they're getting like urges to drink and stuff, and then like a day later I go in, they're still there, and they're like, oh, I was getting, and I was like, yeah, but you're still here, so what was the learning in that for you? And they said like, oh, well, what do you mean? And I was like, you didn't go out and drink, like you can walk out of these gates any time, and you didn't do that, so you won yesterday. And it's a bit like you this morning on reflection, like, you know, the old you probably would have went, oh fuck this, I'm not going to do that podcast, I'm not doing anything, this is the worst, my worst shit, and you know, and then all of a sudden your week's ruined because you feel bad about yourself, and then your self-worth is down on the ground, and then, but it's amazing after like you being, now that you're so open and honest, and you've got your therapy, and you talk to your friends, and there's nearly like there's no filter with you.
Oh, there's absolutely no filter. I'm a chronic overshare. Yeah,
but it's good. It's brilliant because whenever them situations do happen, then you can pull that wee toolbox that you have in the back of your head and go, do you know what? Wise up and just get on with your day.
Here, I've slept in. We could have to instead.
But you know what I mean? And there's no, the way I would look at it, there's no problems in the world. It's all solutions. Like, you know what I mean? And
everything doesn't have to be a drama, and I sometimes make it a drama, but 10 minutes later, I'll be like, right, I'm retracting what I said there. Take it back.
Yeah.
The world is actually okay. We're fine. Nobody's dying. We're all right.
Yeah. And then, like, I suppose, like, where you're singing, the singing side of it, because obviously you promote, like this is all well and good and promoting mental health, and it makes us feel good about ourselves, and you know, and we love helping other people. But at the end of the day, you need to make a few quid, like.
Yes.
You know, so the singing end of it, you're teaching kids in
a stage school. It's called
school.
NSRs. It's absolutely unreal. We have 3 to 18-year-olds, and sorry to tell everybody, the 3-year-olds are my favourite, but only because they're so cute. They are so adorable, and they come in with their wee like backpacks that are 3 times the size of them, and their wee water bottles. And then when they get a wee bit tired, they'll come over and put their wee head on you, and I'm like, oh, it's just lovely. But no, all the kids are great, and they're so talented. And I actually went to that stage school when I was 14. I started against my will. My dad, somebody sent me like this really strange message on Facebook, actually, before it was said, and it was like, we're doing this talent competition if you want to do it, because I posted one video of me singing on the internet, and for some reason, now this was when I was 14, so this was like a big deal to me when I was 14, because it was like 1.5k people had liked it, and I was like, famous. I was like, nobody talks to me now, like, you have to book an appointment, I am famous. And obviously I was not famous. I pictured me opening the blinds in my daddy's house, looking out the window, and there's been a queue of people being like, Kirstin! Yes, that is me. But so I was like, oh my goodness. So obviously somebody seen that and was like, oh, we're doing like this wee talent competition. And then I was like, right, as much as I think I'm famous now, I'm still riddled with the big A. So the big anxiety took over, and I was like, no. But then my dad seen it and was like, this would be such a great opportunity for you to go and actually like sing now that you're getting into it. And I was like, don't know. So you had the audition to get into the actual show. And to me, this was like the X Factor. It was literally a small talent competition in Ballyhackamore. And I was like, oh goodness, I don't know if I'm gonna make it through. Shaking like a leaf and all, coming in, slept in. Story of my life, slept in. My hair was wet, so I was really about to not go. And then my dad was like, right, just wise up. You're a 14-year-old child. Nobody's expecting you to look like Beyonce. Just go in and sing the song. So I'd prepared this Lady Gaga song, went in, and had up all the personality of a wet sponge. So I stood there like this here. And just legs crossed and all, like a wee Bambi, like nobody look at me. And I went in and sang the song, and basically just went, alright, yeah, thank you very much, you want to go now, bye. And came out and was like, right, I've messed that up, because I just went in, sang and left. But the guy that owned the thing obviously was like, yeah, I liked it. So I got a wee letter in the post, felt like I was going to Hogwarts, opened this letter and was like running out going, I got in! Oh my goodness, I got in! And my dad was like, yeah, I know, you can't sing. Like, you're okay, it's a talent competition in Ballyhackamore. You're fine, like, you're gonna... I didn't think you were not gonna get in, but I had it in my head, like, absolutely not. There's gonna be Beyonce, Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, and, like, Bruno Mars.
And Louis Walsh, you look like a star, you sound like a star, you are a star.
Oh, goodness. And
that's brilliant, and that's how the singing journey then started off?
So I started doing that, and then I went and done the actual competition, won my heat and won the final, won £500.
Joking.
Was delighted, spent it all on food. All of it, literally every single penny of it, all on food. Didn't spend, nothing productive happened with that money. Just Nando's, KFC, Chinese, every single night of my life, and I had such a great time. Don't regret it either. No regrets. But so I won that, and then I started going to that stage school, and then obviously the guy that owned it has been like such a lovely, it's like in a way like a parental figure for me. He's the same as Brooklyn. He will call you out. He turned around and was like, right, what you're doing isn't okay. And I feel like he kind of, without him I 100% wouldn't have been doing any sort of singing, because he kind of guided me towards doing that instead of going, yeah, just you go out and party and have a great time. But he was like, listen, I think you'd be really great at teaching. I think you should start doing singing lessons. He literally paid for my singing lessons, and he drove me there a couple of times. Well, me and my pervy daddy, who had to tag along with me everywhere. But he would drive me to the singing lessons all the time. He literally paid for them. And he got me into all these different shows, and like, this wee child's going to go on and sing. Yeah. And as much as I was going up again with the personality of a brick, I got to sing the songs, and I got more confident as I went on. So he was 100% the reason why I started doing it properly. He was great. He still is fantastic. I still work for him to this day, and he's just brilliant. Everybody that works there, all the kids are brilliant. I'm obsessed with it. Class. The only thing I ever talk about.
Yeah, but that's amazing, like, isn't it, to have that passion, and even to have that somebody, and that's why I did mention about everyone needs a Brooklyn, but it doesn't need to be someone who's our age, like, because even for, like, I was listening to, it's actually last night out my walk with Darius CEO, and it was with Jimmy Carr, and he was saying about, like, do you not?
I've listened to that, but I haven't listened to Jimmy Carr one.
Okay, it was brilliant, and he was saying about, like, you know, father figures or mother figures and stuff like that, and we all aren't blessed with, you know, having a mummy or a daddy or whatever who they might be there, but they're not there in a way. You know, they're not loving, they don't give you their action, they're not I don't know, fully honest. You know, it could be anything. Like, I'm talking about anybody here, but like, and that shouldn't matter, because go and find another father figure. You know, whether it's in your GAA club or your singing club or your soccer or whatever, you know, because there's loads of figures out there who do have a big impact on our lives. Like, and I often ask, even, you know, I had Paddy McCrory in last week, who went and won a world championship, you know, a couple of days later, and he was saying about the impact that certain people had in his life, and it's massive, that, and I'd be a big believer in, you know, if we get that off other people, then giving it back again, and that's what you're doing with them 3-year-old kids walking through the door. Like, and it's amazing.
I think I kind of look at it and going, as much as I love going here, and I love the crack, kids are absolutely hilarious, so honest, and just really funny. Love kids, but just there might be that one wee kid in there that kind of needs somebody to kind of go. And every single time, and I've started doing this over the last couple of weeks, and I'm obsessed with it, because I've seen somebody else do it in the mirror to themselves every day. So when the kids come in, whenever we're doing before we start doing our vocal warm-up, and we all go, we are amazing, we are fabulous, we are talented, we are beautiful, and then the kids kind of just say what they want to say, and it's just so nice. And we'll just talk about, even with some of the older kids, the guy that owns the stage school, Andy Gray, he always laughs, because he says that, like, every time a child or like a teenager's having a crisis, they're all like, oh, they come and just overshare everything, and I'm like, don't worry, I'm going to fix this for you. But it's just nice to go, I didn't really have that until I got a wee bit older, and I kind of found it in other people, so I would like to be that person for somebody else, and be like, listen, no matter what you're going through, trust and believe, I've probably been through it, and we're going to fix it. And 98% of the time is teenagers with their boyfriends, and I mean, I have had boyfriends in my life, so I can kind of fix most problems, but they're like, all the kids are great, and it's nice to kind of give something back.
Absolutely, like, and money can't buy that, and you know, and it's the same, like going back and working in the rehab centre and stuff, like, and obviously you get aways and stuff, but it's not about that. Like, it's the fulfillment that I know that you get from that thing, like walking into work every day with them kids, like, and it's fantastic. So you also do, you're not just singing on TikTok and Instagram. Sorry, you lost me. You're not just singing on TikTok and Instagram. You do weddings, and you do funerals and all that sort of carry on.
No, I used to do funerals, but I am a large crybaby. So I would get to this funeral, and I only did a couple, and I would get there and everyone would be really upset. And I've never met this person before in my life. They could have peacefully died in their sleep at 122 years old. I was getting up there, and I was like crying near saying, I was going, this is the most embarrassing thing. People in there probably looking at me going, this wee girl is just not well, because I see, if you started crying right now, I would be in floods, like genuine floods. Even sometimes.
You nearly had me earlier on, like, but
see, I'm terrible. I cry at everything. I cry when I'm happy, I cry when I'm excited, I cry when I'm angry, and I cry obviously when I'm sad. Even sometimes we 3-year-olds would be like, I miss my mummy and daddy, and I just want to go home, and I go, it's okay, it's alright, see them again. But so even pretending to cry makes me want to cry. But I didn't, so I stopped doing funerals.
Okay.
I had to stop doing those, but I do cry at people's weddings. But at least happy tears. But no, I love it because I was kind of going, I love singing. What's something that I could do? So I started doing parties. And then when I started doing parties, people were like, oh, I'm getting married on such and such a date. And at the time, I was like, this is a lot of pressure to be going and singing at somebody's wedding. Because if I mess this up, that's somebody's wedding day for the rest of their life. They're going to remember this and they're going to hate me. So far, I have not messed anybody's wedding up. I don't think I ever would. But in the back of my mind, I was going, right, I've practiced this 500 million times, but what if I needed to practice it 500 million and one times? And they're going to get walking down the aisle and I'm going to, like, mind blank. But I think it's just, now that I've done it, it's like exposure therapy. I'm 100% fine. I'm really enjoying it. Weddings are actually my favourite thing to sing at now because it's just such a special day. And it gives me such joy in making somebody else's day like more special with like their favourite songs, or like some people really get so creative with everything they're doing, and I love being a part of that. Yeah. It's just great. So I'm obsessed. I also love weddings, and I did my first gay wedding, which was like the best day of my life because it was just, I don't know, I just feel like any time I've now booked, I think there's like 6 or 7 gay weddings that I've booked, but like this is all like within this year and next year, and I've been like so delighted about that because then I don't know, I just felt really like special that they chose me to be in their wedding because all the songs were unreal. They were brilliant, and it was everything that I love. There was like Beyonce and everything. It was great.
Class. That's unbelievable. So how do I book you?
Honestly, I just either go on my email, which is on my Instagram and everything like that, or just DM me. Okay. Just whatever's easiest for you.
Yeah, no bother. I've genuinely checked Kirstin's Instagram, and it's brilliant. Some of the songs and stuff that it is, it's very good.
Thank you not that
much.
I
would be. I'm not big into it, but it's good. I like it. I'm more of a Johnny Cash man or something like that.
I like everything.
Do you?
My daddy likes Johnny Cash, so I think I would have grew up listening to absolutely everything. Like he likes Johnny Cash,
Bruce Springsteen.
Brooklyn loves Bruce Springsteen. She's an old soul. Brooklyn. She loves Bruce Springsteen and like anything old. She loves country music.
Yeah, so do I actually.
There you go. Have to meet Brooklyn.
There you are. So just to finish off, I suppose what we've talked about all this, and like your journey has just been fantastic, and I can't help but, you know, and I've said this a few times to people who have been so open and honest on the podcast, but I genuinely am proud of you for what you've went through and what you're doing now, like, and you should be proud of yourself, like. But talking about yourself, you know, you're going you're teaching the kids, you're giving back there, you're going and singing at weddings, you know, you're posting this stuff on Instagram and stuff, and this is something that I've had to learn to do for me. So you're constantly giving. Mm-hmm. Is there anything that you need to do to keep yourself right in terms of like self-care, or what do you do in terms of that? Like,
I feel like whenever you get into the whole thing of like giving back to people, in a way you're doing that for yourself as well, because it makes you feel good to help other people, but you can't pour from an empty cup. Yep. And I feel like over the last little while I've definitely learned, I've put boundaries up, I've like took steps in my life to make sure that I'm actually looking after myself and not put myself in situations that weren't really that great, and not letting other people kind of like take advantage of how much you want to give all the time. But I feel like at the moment I'm trying is the key word, to get into reading. So your new book. I actually said that I just bought that book. I think I've ordered every single book that is on Amazon. Every one. I put up a story and was like, can somebody tell me all like loads of self-help books? And I was like, right, I'll just order them all. So I've got a pile bigger than me, which wouldn't be hard, but a pile bigger than me of just books that I'm trying to read, and continuing to talk more openly about my experiences, because I kind of got into the way of going, okay, I'm just going to talk about other people, and I'm going to talk about like, you can do this and this to make yourself feel a bit better. But I feel like talking about my experiences more openly, even online and stuff, was just helping me, I don't know, to relate to other people, but then to also go, no matter what I say, like, I'm still an absolute mess sometimes too. Like, I did those, like, what I posted versus what I was actually like on the day. And people may be like, why on earth did you post a picture of yourself crying on the internet? But as I said, chronic overshare. So, and an absolute, like, I have no boundary with what kind of things that I will post of myself. So I posted, like, the picture that I actually posted that day. And it was me. I was, like, going to an event. So I was, like, dressed, my makeup's done, my hair was done. I was, like, ready to go. But then, like, that day I was just having a complete meltdown and crying. And me sending pictures to Brooklyn of me crying is just a daily occurrence. So I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to start doing this, where I'm going, what people are posting on the internet is 100% not what's actually going on. So I think being more honest about how I'm feeling and more honest to other people, so then I'm accepting help from other people whenever they offer it. That is how I'm kind of looking after myself a wee bit better than what I have been.
No, it's
and with my mountain of books.
Yeah, but it is, even to have that, you know, that understanding of yourself is just brilliant, because obviously it took me to go through the madness of all of what I've done, like, but and I touched on it there about the nearly the fakeness, and I spoke to Ciara Daly about this, about the social media and people's perceptions and stuff, like, and it's and by you doing what you're doing is hopefully sort of starting to break that stigma in a way of the, you know, there is a real life, or there is a person, as you said at the very start, behind this account. And it isn't all sunshine and rainbows, and just because you are so open and honest about your story doesn't mean that you're bulletproof now. Yeah. And that you're invincible, and you're you know, you don't cry, or not upset, or you don't have days where you don't want to get out of your bed.
I cried 3 times in this podcast.
but you know what I mean? So it's very important for people to know that too, like, because, you know, it's a journey, and it's nearly like a journey with no destination in terms of your recovery in a way, or your mending, or your acceptance of yourself, and you're always sort of growing and building a relationship with yourself, like, and I'd be a big believer in that too, like, about if you can't look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know, I'm doing alright today and I'm happy with myself, then how can you be alright with someone else, or happy with someone else, or anything like that? So it all starts for you, and you're clearly doing that, and it's class, and it's great to see. No, but it's really refreshing. Would you have any advice or anything for any young females? Particularly, you know, in and around what you went through in terms of bereavement, and maybe falling into the circles of alcohol, or different friend groups or anything?
I think that if you're kind of going through anything nearly close to what I was going through, or something along those lines, like, genuinely, there is people that really, really, really do want to help you, and just let them. Yeah. And no matter what it is, like, do not get wrapped up in this whole, like, I'm not going to get better thing, like, victim mindset, because to a certain extent, it doesn't help you to kind of go, oh, like, this is my life and it's never going to get better. And I understand it, because I've been there, where you go, I don't think that I'm ever going to get out of this, but just ask for help. And I know that it's the most cliche thing that anybody's ever said, but, like, it's cliche because it's true. Ask for help. And if you do see somebody else as well struggling, like, maybe just make that wee step out and say, listen, I can see that you're not great. Like, don't enable your friends whenever you see them going down a slippery slope. So I think it's just be there for yourself and go, I'm really genuinely, I'm hurting, I'm not getting over things, I can't do this alone, I need to talk to somebody. And just literally text your best mate and be like, listen, can we go out for a coffee? And I'm just going to probably sit there and wail my eyes out for 45 minutes, but I need it. And sometimes it's just that one wee step that you take, kind of goes, okay, so I've did that, maybe I can talk to a therapist. Okay, the therapist said do this, maybe I can do that. And it's just tiny, tiny, tiny victories until you kind of get halfway up the mountain. And then you go, okay, well, I can maybe just continue until I get to the top.
It's so true, it is, and it's one step at a time. And Paul O'Connell, the Irish rugby player, in a famous speech that he had in the change room one time, he actually said about winning the next minute. And that's what I would put into my life as well now, in recovery and whatever. Like, it's like you're having a bad moment, but what about the next moment, or, you know, and when the next minute? And it doesn't mean you're gonna have a bad day or a bad 2 days or whatever, but Class. I really loved that, and it was a really good chat. And I feel like we could chat for another hour. Like, but
I know I could talk for a very long time, and I was like, right, you are just gonna be like, cut the cameras.
No,
it's over.
No, but it was brilliant, and I think you're very inspiring. I really
Thank
do.
you very
And
much.
you know, in terms of like self-worth and stuff like that, like you're definitely good enough. You're more than good enough, and I think like keep doing what you're doing and don't change like for anybody, because I think we need more people like you, and especially girls out there need more people like you being real, because we're in a world now where it's so far from it. But thanks very much, Kirstin, and it was a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you for having me.
And I thank you to you all for listening, and don't forget to, Sean started doing a wee like and subscribe thing on YouTube. Don't forget to do that, please, if you don't mind. And again, a big thanks to Arrow Travel for sponsoring this week's episode. If you want a holiday or whatever, check them out on Facebook. I have to get them on Instagram and TikTok now because Facebook's down. But check them out on Facebook. They have daily deals or packages and stuff like that, and no, they're really good and friendly and very accommodating. So thanks to Alistair and Aileen for sorting that out. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all next week. Thank you.
Bye.